Coming to you from the lovely campus of LaGrange College, this is Panther Talk, your weekly dose of world news, trivia, and campus updates. I'm Aria, and here with me is Will Gray.
Thanks, Aria. So glad to be here.
Yay! Welcome back to Panther Talk.
Thank you.
All right, so midterms.
Oh, boy.
A little bit of a touchy subject for some people like me. I hope everybody is going to do fantastic on their midterms.
By the time this comes out, they will already be done, right?
Some. I know I have a midterm next Thursday as of when we're recording this.
Oh, actually, I do too.
Oh.
Yep, you're right.
What is your midterm?
French.
French
1.
En français.
Oui.
Oui.
That's all I know. That's it.
I know some French from all of my years of dance, but that's...
Yeah, there are a lot of French words in ballet.
Ensemble.
Jeter means to jump.
Yes, jeter. Échapper.
Pas de bourrée.
Yeah, pas de bourrée. Changement means to change. See?
There you go.
Basically French at this point.
Right. You know the whole language.
Bonjour.
Go to Paris tomorrow.
So French midterms. I've got a New Testament writings in context midterm.
Biology, right?
And I think biology and I think psychology. I'm pretty sure they're on the syllabus, but my teachers have not really talked about it. So,
check the syllabus.
Yeah, check your syllabus.
Check your
and
email.
Check your emails. That is the theme for this season is check your emails, guys. I think I've said it at least once in every single episode that we've done.
I think we've said it 5 times in every episode that we've done.
I think the first one I said was like, check your emails. Check your emails. Some college news. Homecoming.
Woo!
Homecoming is
so exciting.
October 9th through the 15th. So homecoming court voting. Make sure you vote on that.
Should have started by the time this drops, right?
Yes.
Voting. Yeah.
Prince, princess, king, and queen. We'll see those. Guess where? In our emails. So yes, homecoming and Take It From the Top is opening October 12th through the 15th.
So exciting.
October 12th, the show is at 7 p.m. And then the 13th and 14th, it is at 5 p.m. And then on Sunday the 15th, I believe it is at
2 p.m.
2 p.m.?
Yep.
All right. So, you can go to the football game on Saturday and then come straight to Price Theater for Take It From the Top.
Absolutely.
You see
There's
how that works?
posters all over the place. If you forget those times, you can just find a poster. They're all over campus.
Yeah, there's some in the CAF. I'm pretty sure there's some in residence halls, in the library, in the 24.
And all the fine arts buildings.
All the fine arts buildings. Be on the lookout.
Yes.
You'll see all of our lovely faces.
Yeah.
Will, myself, our lovely social media chair, Aubrey, Tyler, who was on last week.
Last week's co-host.
He's right up on the top with the little sailor suit on.
Giant smile
Adorable.
on his face. Fantastic.
I love Tyler.
Me too.
And I think this is a good moment for us to transition into our interview with Professor Tim Fitzgerald, the director of Take It From the Top. Hello, Professor Tim.
Hello.
It's so great to have you on the show.
Welcome to Panther Talk.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
We are super excited to have you. So we're just going to ask you a few little questions, and then we'll do a fun little trivia that is all things musical theater.
Sounds good.
So we'll start with, how long have you taught here at LaGrange College?
I am currently in my 6th year at LaGrange. So
all right.
5 years plus half a semester.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little sprinkle.
Yeah.
Yes. And what do you teach?
So my official title is Assistant Professor of Musical Theater.
Yep.
But we, as you both know, at the theater department, we are mighty but few.
So true.
Professor Kim Barber-Knoll and I are the 2 performance professors over there. So we have to teach a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Lots of hats.
Yeah. So we're really both. I mean, my title is musical theater, but I'm really a theater arts and musical theater professor, and I teach all things theater department, and I'm in my 5th year of teaching in the Ethos program, formerly known as Cornerstone.
Yes.
When I started, it was known as Cornerstone, but now it's known as Ethos.
Ethos.
Yes.
I had Ethos with Professor Knoll. That was fun.
Yes.
I am not a Jew. What else did we read in there? I'm blanking.
I know that they watched a production of Metamorphosis recently. And
this year. I don't think
This
she
year.
did that
They
last
didn't
year.
do that last year, and I'm a little upset about it.
Yeah,
Professor Knoll.
The Cornerstone Ethos program is in continual development. We sort of reimagine it every year or two.
It's never the same.
So the first 2 years I taught it, we had a full-on book. It was a memoir. It was like a 250-page memoir that we read in chunks. It was great. I really enjoyed it, but it was work for the students. And then we switched the book to a different book that didn't work quite as well. And then last year was your freshman year was the year we tried the different professors bringing in different readings and videos and podcasts. And that worked kind of well. And we kind of ooched it this year to hopefully make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So.
I'm so jealous that they got to watch Metamorphosis, though.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. Archival footage, here I come. So, yes, that's really great. And I super enjoyed your drama survey class my first semester here.
Yeah, that
was great.
Yeah, I teach that course pretty much every semester. So it seems like a long time ago that you were in there, but I know it was just last fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed teaching the drama survey. And for those listeners who don't know what that is, it's a lot like theater history, where we read and study plays and
Tartuffe. I love Tartuffe.
Man, you've only taken part
one.
Part
yeah.
one. You need to take
I
drama
need to
survey
take drama
too.
survey too.
Yeah, where we read the more modern plays.
Yes. And what has been your favorite show in the last 4 years at the college?
That I worked on?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's really, it's tough to pick just one. And I know that's such a cliche answer. I don't mean it to be. If I had to pick just one, I would probably say A Few Good Men, which was the spring before you arrived. So whatever that was, spring of 21, I guess.
22.
22,
Because
right.
It was, yeah,
right, spring of 22.
I was supposed to come see it, but I was in a show at my high school.
How dare
Boo.
you. Boo, high school shows.
Boo, high school shows. I'm kidding, Valerie. I love you.
But that was
totally support high
really
school theater.
that was really a very special production in many ways. It's first of all, I love the play itself.
Yeah.
I picked it, so I should. Aaron Sorkin, who's the author, is my favorite author. Aaron Sorkin is a graduate where I got my undergraduate degree at Syracuse University. He was actually a musical theater major.
Go Orange.
Wow.
Go Orange, yeah. Not too far from where you're from.
Yeah.
Well,
Go Orange.
and he spoke at my graduation ceremony when I was just
Stop.
a
That's
little
so
bit older
cool.
than you all.
Stop.
So
That's so cool.
yeah, so that's kind of neato. And then the production itself was just so awesome. It was a really big cast. The seniors in that cast came to LaGrange they were freshmen my first year, so they came in with me. So I felt a little bit of a special kinship with some of them, and it was really. We used a lot of students from across the campus. It wasn't just all theater majors, which we try to do often. We cast a couple of faculty members from outside the theater department as well.
Like who?
Professor Dr. Justin Thurman was in it. He was
I
excellent.
love Dr. Thurman.
He was excellent. Dr. Anthony Wilson also was in it. He was very, very good as well.
We had Dr. Wilson on last season.
Yeah,
No way.
yeah, he was great. They were both great.
Wow.
And we also hired people from the community, older adults from the community to play some of the older roles. One of which actually was my dad. My dad was in the show. He played the judge.
Professor Tim's dad.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. He and I hadn't been in a play together since I was in high school, so that was kind of neat.
That's so
really
sweet.
cool.
And then, of course, the famous story, if you're in the theater department, is that I had to step into the Jack Nicholson role in the last week.
Oh my gosh.
Which was very horrifying, but also exhilarating, and it kind of came together in an awesome, perfect storm sort of way, and it was really gratifying.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, so that would, because of all those reasons, I would have to pick that number one. But honestly, every show I've done has been really great and fulfilling, and they all hold a special place in my heart.
Even take it from the top.
Yeah, I love Take It From the Top.
Yes.
It's driving me crazy right now, but
Yes, it is a little crazy right now,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be fantastic.
It's keeping me up at night, but that's what always happens
Same.
the week before.
You know what? Can
Tech
relate.
week.
I
Yeah.
can relate to you on that one. So tell us a little bit about Take It From the Top.
Okay, so Take It From the Top is a musical theater showcase, which basically just means we pick whatever songs we want to make a showcase to showcase the talent of our students, which is of course you guys.
Hair toss.
We just got a brand new lighting system this past
Yes.
summer. Yeah,
So exciting.
So when Professor Noel and I were discussing our season and decided we wanted to do a showcase to start the year, she said we really need and should show off this new amazing lighting system. So we knew we wanted some sort of bigger, splashier numbers. So I was trying to think of a unifying theme for big production numbers. And I thought to myself, the opening numbers of shows are
Yes.
usually big and splashy.
Great idea.
Yeah. So and anytime I always tell people this, students or anybody who asks me, anytime you're trying to do something creative, the best thing you can do is give yourself a template that limits you, that limits your thinking, that sort of funnels your imagination, because it makes things so much easier, right? So by choosing that template of we're going to just do opening numbers, I immediately eliminated 95% of all songs I could choose, and all I had to do was look at. I love this show. What does it have a good opening number? Oh, yeah. Or no. Or it's a great show, but you know what? The opening number doesn't really work in this context. So it made my job so much easier. So it's all opening numbers. There's 12 opening numbers in all. Once I had my theme, the next step was obviously picking which songs to use. I wanted to pick ones that fit well together, that gave a nice variety of styles and time periods, and that would, obviously showcase your guys' talents and show you guys off. And also, our job is to teach you, so numbers that would help in your education, maybe expose you to some new types of things you hadn't done before. And I think we came up with a pretty good mix.
Yes,
I'm really happy with the song. Sometimes, you're kind of grit your teeth and hope it's a good choice because you can't. You have to make the choice.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, I think this is a good one. I'll know 2 weeks into rehearsal. But I think it worked out well. The songs are really landing the way I envision them. So that's good.
I have to say the educational aspect of doing a showcase has been very enlightening for me because there are a lot of shows in our show, Take It From the Top, that I had never listened to or heard of before. And I mean, I'd heard of Kiss Me Kate, but I'd never listened to the soundtrack before.
Right,
so,
right, sure.
You know,
of course.
Bright Star is another one that I had heard of, and
didn't really know.
Yeah.
And that, that's even true a little bit for me. There was some shows in there that I knew a lot better than as a responsible musical theater professor, I try to be at least somewhat familiar with all the shows.
Right.
But, Mean Girls, for example, we do the opening number of Mean Girls. I had, when Mean Girls first came out, I listened to it and I thought, oh, that's cool. But that was sort of the extent of my knowledge. I hadn't studied it or anything. So, so it is good for that. It's funny that you mentioned that because when you asked what my favorite experience was, and I answered A Few Good Men, my second choice was the first show I ever directed, which was a similar workshop, which was called A Story to Tell. And that was I found a template for that as well, but that was really taken from the educational point of view, and it was sort of a walk through musical theater history.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that show started with, and it could have been any songs from different numbers, from different shows, but I started all the way back at Showboat. And went all the way,
Showboat.
and then I went all the way through Hamilton. Which
Stop! That's awesome.
Yeah, which at the time, this was 19, so Hamilton was only a couple years, few years
like
old
the
at that
peak
point.
of
Archival
Hamilton fever.
footage.
Yeah.
Here I
And
come.
it had more of a script. This Take It From the Top, as you know, doesn't really have much of a script. It's the songs, but that one had a script that I had
Songs
weaved in a
transition.
thing, and the students had to sort of figure out and answer questions, and I was the voice of God in the back.
Stop.
Asking the students questions.
The
Yeah, it was
Wizard
pretty
of
cool.
Oz.
footage. I'm
was pretty
coming.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I am excited. I'm going to watch it. All right. Will, do you have any more questions?
Nah, I think we should do some trivia.
All right.
Oh,
Here we go.
Goodness.
Everybody
I'm
has
nervous.
the same reaction to trivia.
I'm nervous.
You're gonna
There's
do
quite a
great.
few softballs in here. For
That's
you,
good.
So
Whew.
Yes.
you got this.
All right. So your first question is, a deal is made to make Washington, D.C. the nation's new capital in The Room Where It Happens, a song in what smash hit Broadway musical?
If only somebody had mentioned this recently.
I know.
Hamilton.
Yes, you are correct.
Wonderful. What classic Broadway musical adapted from the film in 1961 and again in 2021 features warring New York City gangs known as the Jets and the Sharks?
Yes. So I would have known that one.
From just the movie adaptations.
I knew the answer. We were about half a sentence in. That is my absolute all-time number one favorite musical, West Side Story.
Yes.
When I was introduced to that show, I was a sophomore in high school, and I watched that original movie, that 1961 movie you're talking about, literally every day for about 6 months. Literally every day I would watch it. I wore out that VHS tape, let me tell you.
The music in that show is absolutely incredible.
Glorious.
Leonard Bernstein is
Glorious.
one of the greatest of all time.
When I saw Patti LuPone in concert, she sang,
Tonight?
no, There's a Place for Us.
Somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she had me in tears up in
Yeah.
the balcony crying.
Beautiful. Do we know what part of the show that happens in? So it's a trick question for you guys. I'm flipping the script. It happens in a different spot in the musical than it does in the movie.
I think in the movie, I think it's towards the end.
Yeah, I was going to say it's near the end of the
I don't
movie.
know about the musical.
I'm going to guess it happens right after the opening number in the musical, since you said it's not at the
It's
end.
Such a good guess, but
the
no.
end of Act 1.
Yes, it's. I don't. Well, it's in the middle. It's in the middle. I don't know if it's the end of Act 1 or the beginning of Act 2, but it's actually the Dream Ballet, which a lot of Golden Age musicals had, right? So in the show, it's actually sung by an ensemble member who's meant just to sing that song while Dream Tony and Dream Maria dance.
That's so beautiful.
And in the movie, they took out the Dream Ballet and
Yeah.
had Tony and Maria sing it themselves to each other. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And then in the 2021 version, they added a whole other character that sang.
Yes.
Someone.
Well, no. Yes and no. They had the character of Doc sing that song, who is in the original, but in the original, Doc is male, who owns the drugstore.
Okay.
I think.
That's why.
I think. I've only seen the Steven Spielberg, the new one, once or twice.
I've never watched
I
it.
can't remember if it's the same character, if it's Doc's wife, maybe. Who is that character who sings that? And Doc has
Can't remember.
passed. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm not sure.
But do we know who played that part?
I do not.
In the new movie?
Yeah, in the new one.
I
Yes.
haven't watched the new one
Okay,
yet.
so I got to get you guys in musical theater history.
Yeah, for real. I need a musical theater history class so bad.
The
too.
person who played that role in the new one is Rita Moreno, who
yes.
was Anita in the first in the
in the first-
1961
Oh,
version.
that's awesome.
Anita.
And if you haven't seen the 1961
I have
version,
seen that one. It's
Rita
so
Moreno
good.
is
She's phenomenal.
so good, so good. I mean, everybody's good in that movie, but she really. Whew.
So this is probably my favorite question. With over 10,000 performances, what spooky performance is the longest running show in Broadway history?
It recently closed.
So sad.
Phantom of the Opera. Yes. Phantom of the Opera opened in '87. I want to
Yes.
say.
1987.
I saw. So Phantom was my first favorite musical. My parents loved Phantom. We used to listen to the Phantom tape in the car.
It's my favorite.
And I loved it. And I saw it front or second row center when I was 14.
Stop.
And I had to miss. My parents at that time, Phantom was the thing. So you had to order tickets like a year in advance to get decent seats back then. And my
It's like the
parents,
Hamilton of its time.
yeah. So my parents had to order the seats a year in advance, and it ended up being the night we went, was my first day of ninth grade, my first day of high school. So I was absent my very first day of high school.
That is a
because I was
completely-
seeing
It's a great
Phantom on Broadway.
That is a valid reason to miss high school in my book.
Yes, I agree.
definitely.
I would pay so much money to see Phantom of the Opera on stage. It is my all-time favorite.
I saw it again a few years after that in Toronto. I worked with a guy, Scott Makita, his name is. We had done some workshops together, and shortly after we worked together in the early 2000s, he booked Phantom And he did it, and he was on the ensemble, and he did it until it closed, whatever it was, a few months ago. So he was in that show for like 20 years.
Wow. I love Phantom.
All right. Although John Williams is known for writing original film scores,
Yes.
he also won an Oscar for adapting the score in the 1971 film version of what Broadway musical that is set in Anatevka, Russia?
I did not know the answer until the end.
We had a film moment of that because Professor Tim's eyes just got so wide.
So there's a lot in that question that I didn't know. So I just learned something. That's great. So it's, of course, Fiddler on the Roof.
Yes.
Which is one of my absolute favorite all-time shows.
Also, my favorite of all time.
Is it?
I
It's
love
so
that show.
good. It's so good. I did that show in summer stock. It was my very. That's not true. I was about to say it was my very first summer stock show, but I had done a different summer stock in an earlier summer. But I did the summer after I graduated college, about your guys' age. I worked at the time it was known as the Merry-Go-Round Playhouse. It's now known as the Rev Theater in upstate New York, in Auburn, New York. And we did 4 shows that summer. It was such a stereotypical summer stock experience, living in the in the cabins and rehearsing one show during the day and doing a different show at night and all that. Yeah. And
Summer
kids,
stock is
college
crazy.
kids from all the different colleges coming together and bonfires and good times.
Bonfires.
But the first show we did that summer was Fiddler on the Roof, and I didn't really know the show at all at that time.
Were you just in the ensemble, or did
I
you?
was.
Okay, cool.
I was a Russian dancer.
Nice.
Slay.
But I was also one of the Jewish bottle dancers.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's
a tough
challenge.
dance.
And for those of you who don't know, there's a dance they do. One of the I think it's one
during
of
the
weddings.
wedding.
Yeah, the wedding, where these dancers put like empty champagne bottles on their head, and you have to do all these tricky dances, but whilst balancing
And
the
like
bottles.
they're getting down on their knees and standing back up.
Yeah.
and
I
like,
want
I did
to-
it all.
it-
I did it all.
I
You
want
should
to be
watch
in
it
that.
if you haven't. It is pretty incredible.
I want to be a
I
bottle
didn't
dancer.
realize what a beautiful show it is.
You could be a bottle
it's
dancer.
Stunningly
Thanks.
beautiful show. It really is. It's so well written. I use that show as an example of a lot of sort of bigger umbrella lessons I teach in my my drama survey classes, and my really any time I need to tell a story about storytelling and what it means to tell a story. I often use Fiddler on the Roof because it's such a beautiful story and it's so well told.
I agree. The music is not my favorite music. I love the music, but because the story is so incredible,
Tevia's Dream.
it just trumps. Yeah,
That
Tevia's
mu-
Dream is
That
hilarious.
music is so. That is my favorite Fiddler song.
Yeah.
All right,
Some people believe that Fiddler, when Fiddler happened, which I don't quote me, I want to say 64 maybe.
That sounds right to me.
Around there, was the sort of unofficial end of the golden age because because people think of it, it's an old timey musical and think of it in that sort of golden age, but it really wasn't. It really did a lot of new and exciting things.
Set the precedent for
Yeah.
other musicals.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, that's all right.
don't get me going on this.
All right. So here's your last trivia question.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're 4 for 4 right now.
Oof.
You get a medal if you get all 5.
Okay.
So played by Frank Sinatra in a film version, Nathan Detroit is a gambling boss in what classic 1950s Broadway musical?
The answer is Guys and Dolls.
Yes.
Yes.
I wish everybody could see Aubrey's reaction right now. because
Aubrey
she is-
loves.
She is wilding
It's
out
a show
right
that
Guys and Dolls
A,
is such
she
a great
knows,
show.
now. Hey.
and B, she really likes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, full disclosure, I don't know Guys and Dolls nearly as well as some of the other classic shows. Sorry, Aubrey. It's one of those shows that sort of slipped through the cracks for me. I never saw. When I was younger, I never saw a high school production. I was never in it. They weren't doing it when I did that. When I did summer stock, I never, it was never when I took musical theater history myself as a student, I never studied it. Ironically, I know Lesser's follow-up show, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, a lot better. My dad introduced me to that movie, which they made a movie of it when I was, I think, still in high school, and I love that show. And in fact, the opening number to How to Succeed is in our
Yes,
I
it
was
is.
just about to say that.
yeah. Having having said that, I know it better now. Obviously, I know all the music and I know the sort of general storyline, but I've never seen like a great production of it or anything. I would love to because
I've seen a couple high school productions.
Yeah,
but
well,
nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing incredible.
That's always tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Professor Tim gets a medal.
5 for 5.
5 for
5
5.
for 5.
Well done.
And it is now a part of your academic regalia.
Yes.
Where you have to wear it at graduation.
It's going on my CV.
Yes.
5 for 5 on the podcast.
Yes, everybody who gets 5 for 5 gets a medal. If you see Professor Tim on campus or anything, give him a fist bump, high five, a cookie, as Tyler said in the last episode. Give him a cookie. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on today, Professor Tim.
It's been a real pleasure to have you.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay. And we're super excited for Take It From the Top. CE credit, free for students.
Yes.
October
Yeah.
12th through the 15th. 7 p.m., 5 p.m., 5 p.m., 2 p.m.
Yeah, weird starting times because it's homecoming. But
Yes.
yeah, opening
Yes.
night is at 7. Friday and Saturday are at 5 p.m. And the Sunday matinee is at 2.
Yay.
Free admission for all students.
Yes.
Come
So
get
true.
a CE credit
So true.
and support your fellow students.
So true. All right. And now we're moving into some sports updates.
We've got some exciting games coming up this
Heck
week.
yeah.
We've got a women's soccer game versus Piedmont, and that is on the 10th at 6 p.m.
And that's at home on
Yes.
Panther Field.
Yes. We've got a volleyball game against Belhaven at 7 p.m. on the 12th. Let's see.
Also at home.
Yes, also at home. We've got a men's soccer game at home here on the field at LaGrange College against Belhaven at 5 p.m. on the 13th. And on the 14th, we got a real busy schedule. We've got a football game against Belhaven at 1 p.m. And this is our homecoming game.
Yes.
So be there,
Homecoming
be there,
court,
be there. Yes.
All the things. Tailgating.
Absolutely. And we've got a volleyball game at home against Wesleyan
There you go.
at 4 p.m. Isn't that in Ohio?
Wesleyan?
Yeah.
No, there's one in Macon.
Oh, okay.
Wesleyan
Gotcha.
College. Yes.
I thought they were coming all the way from Ohio. That would have been a long trip.
Yeah.
And they have a volleyball game at Berea at 2 p.m. So,
That's how you say that?
I don't know.
Berea? Beret?
I know that's how you say
Berry.
the tacos, Berea tacos. And that's how it's spelled, I think. So.
Maybe it's Berea then. Last week when I was
Berea?
talking about them, I could not figure out how to say it. So
Well, I know how to say LaGrange, and that's what really matters. So
go Panthers.
go Panthers. So those are our games this week, and you guys should go to all of them and support
Yes.
our teams.
Support
Go
our
Panthers.
athletic Panthers. So some world news updates. America and Russia decided to test countrywide emergency systems on the same day, which was, what's today's date? October 4th?
Yes, it is
Yes.
the 4th.
So this is the day that we're filming it. Not filming, recording Panther Talk.
Yeah.
So that went off at like 2:20 today. I was in class. You were in class.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yes.
That was scary.
my mom had to warn me because I have this fear of severe weather, and that's
Yeah.
the sound that goes off whenever
There's like a tornado or-
Yeah.
yeah.
And she was like, just know that that's happening today, so don't be
It's
freaked
not
out. And I was
weather.
like, thank you, Mother.
How
Because,
kind of her. That's very
yes,
sweet.
I definitely would have freaked out. I would have been like, what is happening? What?
It's just a test.
Yeah, it's just a test, but my brain would tell me.
That happens
That I'm
every
about to
Wednesday to me at noon because on Wednesday at noon in my hometown, the like tornado sirens go off.
That happens in Columbus too at noon on Saturdays, bro. I was in Columbus and that went off and I freaked out. I was like, ah!
Yeah, I was real
I took off
scared.
running. I think I was in the middle of a parking lot or something. Ask my family.
Yeah. I look outside and I'm like, it couldn't be a tornado. And I'm like, it's a nuclear bomb.
Not a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our world news. And then we have some interest group, college events, CE credits, all that. Hey, and Take It From the Top is a CE credit.
Yep. You get CE credit for coming to take it from the top, and it's
And
free for students and
I
faculty
was going to
and staff.
say that. It's free, Free,
That spells free.
in all caps. Free. So I hope to see every single one of you there.
You should definitely do what Aria said and go to the football game, and then as soon as the football game is over, head straight to Price Theater,
Yes, it's right there, you know? It's right there.
right across the street.
You see how they did that? I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers. Great planning.
And then we also have an event called Move Your Bus, Enjoy the Ride. on October 11th from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m.
Yep.
in Dixon.
I would assume.
I'm assuming a.m. Again, what am I going to say?
Check your emails.
So yeah. And you know what? Panther Talk, I think this is a great way to wrap it up. Panther Talk is written by Floyd, produced by Aria Mabry and Kelton Hunt. Audio engineering is by Maureen Goughnour. Audio editing is by KeOnthany Seals. Audio mixing and mastering by Kelton Hunt. And music by Jacob Broom. And a special thank you to Professor Tim Fitzgerald for letting us interview them today. And that's our show. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Goodbye for now, and have a good one, Panthers.
Bye, y'all.